Assalamu alaikum. We're going to start the program by reciting Quran from Brother Shubayd Husseini. After the Quran recitation, we're going to have a quick interview with Sheikh Azhar and talk about a couple of current issues going on in our communities in the world. And then we'll play a game of cahoots. So if everyone can grab their cell phone, their iPads, laptops, whatever, go to the website of cahoots when Sheikh Azhar comes in so we can join and start the program, inshallah. So with that said, we'll turn it over to Brother Shubayd.
Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for tuning in. So as Brother Shabir mentioned, I'll be starting with the Quran recitation, specifically from Surah Al-Mulk. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فتور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور. أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاسبا فستعلمون كيف نذير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم. قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين. قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون. قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب عليم. قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين. قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتكم بماء معين صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل
محمد. أحسنت حبيبي. جزاكم الله.
Thank you, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone again. Just to outline tonight's program, we're going to have short dua from the Sheikh, and then we'll have a little quick talk and then play a game of Kahoot. So please grab your iPad, your iPhones, your tablets, your laptops, and log into the Kahoot app or website, and then we'll pass you guys on a code later on. You guys can join and watch. With that said, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhina.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well.
You kind of nervous?
You know, I'm never nervous. I've been doing this for a long time. How about you? I'm more worried about you.
That's what I'm saying. You're nervous to be on a live program with me?
Is the heat on in your house? It looks like you're like sweating.
Nah, bro, it's cold. Actually, we live in the Northeast. We got snow coming in next week after 70 degrees.
I'm glad I'm on the West Coast then.
How's it feel to be part of the 1%, Shaykhina?
You know, usually when they say part of the 1%, they refer to the wealthiest. So
that's what I mean. I meant the wealthiest. I see you had a private doctor at your house yesterday.
No, I think I'd have a better setup. If you see, I have my laptop on like a step stool. So it's a bit of a mess. There's definitely
you had a personal doctor in your house the whole day yesterday, didn't you?
If you're referring to Zainab, yeah, she was off to a good start with the blood pressure, but then she got a bit hostile. So
okay.
Luckily, I'm in Canada, so
it hasn't got there yet.
I'm not gonna get a bill.
You know, before we start the program, if we can take a minute to recite dua for anyone that has passed away because of this coronavirus, and anyone that's sick, we pray for a speedy recovery. So if I can have you recite something, Sheikh, and I appreciate that.
Sure. So as you know, with the outbreak of the virus, you know, there are people around the world, people in our communities who've been affected by this virus. And there are people who are suffering of different ailments. So, you know, let's begin by remembering them in our du'as. And I'll just share a very short du'a that is mentioned by Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi in Mafatih al-Jinan. And inshallah, with the barakah and the blessings of the one who was born on the 15th of Sha'ban, I pray that Allah grants them a speedy recovery. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم إنا نسألك بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العلى وبرحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء أن تمن علينا بالشفاء العاجل وأن لا تدع فيما جرحا إلا داويته ولا ألما إلا سكنته ولا مرضا إلا شافيته اللهم ألبسنا ثوب الصحة والعافية عاجلا غير آجلا وشافنا وعافنا واعف عنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصل يا رب على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على
محمد وعلى محمد. So Sheikh, we got a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
This program is sponsored by the Minnesota Jamaat, so thank you for sponsoring this program. And they had a list of questions to ask you, so I'm going to ask you a couple of them before we start the game.
Sure.
One of them is, how do you think this coronavirus has impacted our community, short-term and long-term, and how can we move forward whenever it's over with?
I mean, when you think about this virus and what it's done, I think that it's forced us to redefine what it means to be a community. You know, we often associate communities with mosques. It's almost as though that you have to have a mosque, you have to have a physical building for you to be considered a community. But now that we are deprived of those physical spaces, it really forces us to redefine what it means to be a community, you know, and this is something that we should have learned from the life of the Prophet. I mean, in Mecca, the early Muslims didn't really have a building that they could call their own. You know, Masjid al-Haram was essentially occupied by mushrikeen. So in Mecca, the Prophet had a community, he had followers, but they didn't have a physical building, but they were still considered a community because they took care of each other, they looked after each other, they helped each other, they empowered each other. So I pray that this coronavirus outbreak and the isolation that it's forced us to go into will make us understand that what it means to be a community is much more than just having a physical building.
Yeah.
You know, it goes beyond that. There are many communities who are close knit, who do so much for the wider community, and they don't have a physical masjid. So that's one. So really thinking about what it means to be a community. And first and foremost, it means to keep in touch with each other, to look after each other's needs, to make sure that we're providing good programming for one another, to get to know each other on a deeper level. You know, how many of us go to the masjid and we don't even know the name of the guy that we've been praying beside? You know, Jum'ah.
Now you're thinking about him.
So number one, it's really, it should force us to redefine what it means to be a community. Number two, I think it's going to force us to be more creative in the way that we deliver Islamic knowledge. You know, I think that we've become very complacent as a community. We've been holding programs the same way for essentially 14 centuries. You know, it's the same, you know, majlis, you listen to the speaker, it's very one directional. So the current situation is really a test of our adaptability. And it reminds me a lot of the period of Imam Zainul Abidin, where he was no longer, you know, so one medium of communication was essentially blocked, and that was the minbar. The Imam did not have the freedom to deliver sermons from a pulpit, so he had to be creative and use, for example, dua as a medium to deliver knowledge.
Connect to the people, yeah. No, that's definitely understandable, because I was actually looking up something about Joel Osteen. It said it was the first time he's given a lecture in this mega church, you know? And sadly to say, not to pick on anybody or any community directly or indirectly, but we have some of these mosques that are mega sizes, that are gigantic, got millions of dollars in the bank account, but still haven't done anything for their own community. All they think about is the building. Like you said, you know, the Prophet's message started without a building. There was no building, and then he built his way up from there.
True.
The second question they had for you is, who inspired you to become a sheikh? Or, you know what I mean?
You. I mean, I'd have to. You're my inspiration, man. But you know, if it's difficult to really pinpoint one individual that you can say that this is the person who inspired me. I mean, if I was to name one person, I would say that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sheikh al-Wa'ili. You know, Sheikh al-Wa'ili, Sheikh Ahmed al-Wa'ili, he was an Iraqi Shiite cleric, and he passed away, I believe, in 2001 or 2003. And he was inspiring to me because he was a very beautiful combination of secular education and Islamic education. He had such a huge impact on people, and he's one of the few speakers who could sit on a pulpit, and because he was so Quran centric in his presentations, you have Sunnis, Shias, Christians, you know, people from different religious denominations listening to him, because what he was presenting from the pulpit was something that really transcended sect, and even in some cases it transcended any specific religious group. So just to see the power and the influence that one person can have through their knowledge was inspiring to me.
And his lectures are still being aired in Iraq. Like still has his own radio station, I believe, right?
He's definitely. I mean, I think. I mean, a lot of the speakers today, especially in the Arabic-speaking world, a lot of them have mimicked, and they've used his style as kind of like the template to follow. Now that doesn't mean that I agree or I endorse everything that he's ever done, but I definitely think that
he definitely paved the way.
He definitely paved the way. Yeah.
If you can give one word of advice to the youth of the communities with the current situation, what would you suggest?
Now that the majority of us are essentially homebound, we're quarantined, and it seems like it's not going to be for a short period of time. It's going to probably last for weeks and potentially even months. I think that number one, I think now no one can say I don't have time. I think that now the excuse of I don't have time, I'm busy. I mean, we're all busy to a certain extent, but we definitely have more free time than we used to. Number one, I think that this is a great opportunity to start making up your qada prayers. Many of us have months, weeks, and even years of qada prayers to make up. So this is an excellent opportunity to use that free time and make up your prayers. I mean, when are we going to make up our prayers? We're always delaying it. Before you go to bed every night, spend 20 minutes and you just do one day of qada. Like designate 20, 25 minutes and you can finish one day of qada. So set aside time to make up the prayers that you've missed. Number two, we have to make time for Islamic learning. It's not enough to just attend Muharram lectures. It's not enough to attend Ramadan lectures. You need to do something beyond that. We have a narration from Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, and he says, لو أتيت بشاب من شباب الشيعة لا يتفقه في الدين لأدبته. Imam al-Baqir, he says that if I came across a young Shia, a youth who's Shia, لا يتفقه في الدين, who does not have a deep understanding of Islam, not a superficial. I'm not talking about someone who can list 5 usul ad-din and maybe you can name the imams by name, all 12 of them. That's not what the imam is talking about. Tafaqquh means that you have a deep understanding of your faith. The imam says la'adabtu, the imam says I would discipline that person. So you can imagine that the imam is very severe in his tone, because it's not something that we can take lightly. If you have time to make a silly 1-minute TikTok video, you can't spend some time reading the biography of the Prophet, reading the tafsir of some of the shorter surahs, reading about the oneness of God, about nubuwwah. You need to know why you believe what you believe. You need to know, you've memorized the stats of LeBron James. You know exactly how many points he averages per day, but you don't know when Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen was born. You don't know anything about his life. So we have to give priority to those who have been appointed by Allah Azza wa Jal as our guides. And every night before I sleep, I have a stack of 3 books. Before I sleep, I read for about 30 to 40 minutes every night. I do this religiously. And if you're consistent, you will be able to.
Is that on top of tweeting or besides tweeting?
So that's besides tweeting. So tweeting doesn't take that much of my time. But the point is that if you do this consistently, you should be able to finish a book per month if you're consistent.
Yeah.
If you're like Shabir and you have, Twitter and you have TikTok and you have Facebook and Instagram, then it becomes a bit too difficult to manage.
I have it, but I don't even know how to use TikTok. I'm trying to figure it out. It's kind of too complicated. Since we were talking about the issue of coronavirus, one of the conspiracy theories is the 5G internet network. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think you answered it. I think it's a conspiracy theory. I don't think there's any evidence for it. A couple days ago, I was teaching a tafsir course, and someone asked me a question about whether the coronavirus was mentioned in the Quran specifically, and I'm like, what do you mean? So they said, oh, but there's an ayah in the Quran where it talks about how there are 19 angels that are the keepers of Jahannam, and obviously COVID-19. So don't you see the connection? So again, I mean, you're going to hear a lot of people trying to substantiate their conspiracy theories using ahadith, using the Quran. But speaking of conspiracy theories, Shabir, what do you think happened to Tupac?
I think he's chilling in the Bahamas. He's coming out soon, inshallah. He's studying Batra Kharij currently.
Oh, really? Where?
Yeah.
In Palm or Najaf?
University of Phoenix online.
Oh, okay. That's
great. Speaking of time, and you're talking about reading the books and Twitter and TikTok, and people are requesting your TikTok name, by the way.
I don't have TikTok. I can only handle one social media platform.
Yeah, but because your Instagram is
not that creative.
Screenshots.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's screenshots, and I don't, I didn't even know that I had an Instagram. I used to have a private one that I would just use for friends and family, but that one was started by someone else, and I actually found out about it recently. So I don't. If you ask a question on Instagram and I don't respond, that's not me. So don't get offended. Those accounts are not controlled by me.
One of the sisters messaged me. She said this punishment is coming from God because the ladies' side of the mosque has always been small. They never made it bigger. So God basically wanted everyone to stay home so they can see how it feels. So the second question I have, you were talking about reading the book and, taking time out during your daily life to manage, especially now with this current situation we have going on. How do you make time as a father, a husband, a scholar, a babysitter, you know what I mean? A patient to your daughter, through your day. How do you manage that being a scholar? Because usually you're on the road, you're speaking somewhere, you're overseas or you come back. So do you pick up a big gap or what is it?
So, obviously it's challenging. And I think it's challenging for anyone, whatever line of work you're in. It's always difficult to kind of, play all of those different roles, to juggle your time and balance your time. So, I don't like to compartmentalize and basically say, okay, now I'm in daddy mode. Now I'm in, sheikh mode. Now I'm in, husband mode. I try to kind of blend them all because I don't see them as things that need to be separated. But I understand what the question means. And, when it comes to my lecturing and my teaching, I do most of my reading and my prep work at night, especially, after we put our daughter to sleep, because, during the day I try to give her, because she's young, you want to give that undivided attention. So during the day, I'm hers, she's the master and I'm the slave. So she has my full attention during the day. And me and my wife, we kind of, we enjoy playing that role. And just kind of, she forces us to kind of, to relive our own childhood. So, when it comes to being a husband, me and my wife, we try to make it a point to, at least before we were forced into isolation, we would try to have, at least once a week, we go out, to our restaurant together. We do some activity where it's just me and her. So, and it goes without saying that I wouldn't be able to do, and this goes for, I would say, all scholars really, like, we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for the support that we were getting from our spouses. You guys, you see us on the pulpits, but that really it's our wives that are really holding down the fort. So
we're giving a shout out to all the ladies out there. Is that what you're trying to say?
I think that, to be fair, yeah, I think
the baby mamas.
I mean, some of them are not mamas, but
that's true.
Sure.
Couple of other things just to go over. What do you feel like? There's a lot of people doing a lot of things right now, trying to figure out programs for Ramadan, iftar, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
do you feel like is more of a need to help out the communities overseas, such countries such as Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Africa, so on and so forth? Because at least with the US and Canada and so on and so forth, the Western countries, as you can categorize it, there is some kind of help. The government is helping people out. No one's really dying out of hunger. Like, for example, the US, our president, said you don't have to pay your mortgage if you can't pay it, the rent control, you don't got to pay your rent. So it is helping out. And everyone's looking to do something here in the US for Ramadan. Do you think it would be better to help out those countries where those guys have been home for the past 2 months? They can't afford to buy food to help them out as far as iftar programs, so on and so forth?
Shabir, you sound like a Trump supporter, right?
No comment, but I'm in line with the Republican.
I knew I was going to regret doing this interview.
So
but I understand. I understand your question, and I think that I don't think it needs to be mutually exclusive. Meaning, I don't think that we need to. I think it's a false dilemma in the sense that it's not like you need to do. If you do one, then you can't do the other. I think that there is a need to support our communities domestically, and there's also a need to do that abroad. I mean, personally, I try to help communities who are struggling overseas as well as our own community. So I think that you could do both, and I don't think it's. I think it would be an exaggeration to say that, the government is helping. I mean, the government may be able to assist to a certain extent, but the need is still great. There's still a gap that needs to be filled, by our own people. So I don't think that relying on the government is a good strategy. So I think that we can do both.
Yeah. Do you think it is the end of time? Then, like a lot of people are like sitting here waiting for Imam Zaman to come, and they don't care about anything else. I'm like, just live your life like Imam Zaman's coming every day, not just tomorrow.
I don't know. Anyone who tells you that we are. I think generally speaking, we are living in the end of times, because one of the signs of the end of times is the advent of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet even says, "Bu'ithtu ana was-sa'ati kahatayn," that me and the final hour are like this, meaning that the prophet's bi'tha is one of the signs of Qiyamah, but that doesn't mean that Qiyamah is going to happen immediately after the prophet's arrival. It just means that relative to the beginning of the story of man with Adam, that we're closer to the end, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen immediately. But just as you mentioned, in the same way that we always have to be prepared for Malakul Maut, we should always be prepared for the Imam. I think that it should be irrelevant to us whether the Imam is in occultation or he has reappeared. I think that our behavior should be the same.
Yeah, because then if you're really changing your behavior every time you think something's happening, not to say you are a hypocrite, but lack of better words, you're being a hypocrite because you're not who you're supposed to be as a Muslim.
You're definitely more sincere if your conduct is not contingent on whether or not it's the end of times. Yeah. I think that's accurate.
So I recommend all our viewers, if you guys can go to Kahoot.it, so this way we can play a little game with the Sheikh and see how many people can get it right or wrong. We'll share the screen in a second. I think the screen is being loaded now, and we're going to wait for some people to log in. In the meantime, Sheikh, how's the weather in Vancouver?
It's shot. I mean, there's a lot of sunshine, but it's a bit on the chilly side, and it's like a ghost town. I mean, you walk out, and it's like I was telling my wife the other day, and I'm like, I really feel like this is like being in the movie. That movie I Am Legend?
Yeah, I was gonna say, New York.
Yeah, you almost feel like, dude, there's like no human beings around anymore. So which is really nice if you're an introvert. I mean, if you're antisocial, this is like Jannah for you.
Yeah.
But
is it bothering you psychologically, like at all, and not being really around people and hanging around people?
I mean, I'm a social person. I mean, I like the hustle and bustle of just like
being around people.
So it does get kind of lonely. I mean, I think you need to have a balance between solid. I think we all need you know, you need that me time, you need solitude. But I mean, you miss going out and seeing people and, you know, socializing and conversing. Uh, you know, so yeah, I mean, I can be without you for months, but you know, there are other
That's
people
not
I
really
like to
true
see on
because
a
you
more
still
regular
shoot me a
basis.
text message or call me up. You know, just since the audience is watching,
I'm just reading the names on this Kahoot. I mean, some really
bro,
so
I
live
think they're all like
shining lizard,
China.
quick
They're all coming from
buffalo.
China.
What's that?
I think all these names are from like China.
We have some Chinese bots logging in.
Yeah, I think one said Cardi B, so inshallah, our sister Cardi B must have took her shahada.
Was there a Cardi B that logged in?
I think it was, yeah. It quickly bounced back.
Okay. Amazing cat, expert Finch.
You know, just to talk
It
about.
doesn't even feel like I'm in like in a Muslim like what there's no like Muslim names.
Well, you are on a program with me, so I don't know how much.
There's no like Abu Lu'lu or anyone that's logging in.
No, I think that's a little too complicated for the viewers. You know, Shimit is a little more friendlier than Abu Lu'lu for these guys. They're vice versa. You remember back in the day, I was in Najaf and you were in Najaf as well.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the basement of one of our friends' house.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, you should bring a group next year. And I was like, you want me to bring a group next year? And you're like, yeah. I was like, all right. And you looked at me next year. You're like, damn, you really brought a group. You remember that, or?
I remember that vividly. I was like, you know what, you know, why don't you bring a Ziyada group with you? You know, you have us, and we can help you. I mean, we have certain connections, and you just have the personality type. And so it was a suggestion. I was expecting you to do it maybe like in a few years, but man, you were back in like 6 months with a group, and you were ready to go. Which is one of the things that I actually respect about you, is that you are a go-getter.
When I told you I'm gonna do it, I really did it,
One of
right?
the few things that I respect about you.
So I don't know when we're supposed to start this game. So can we start this game? Can we pop up question one? Let people
maybe give it a little bit longer.
Give
I
it a
just
little
saw
bit
someone
longer.
named Radiant.
So Sheikh, have you ever been to a community and you seen someone get knocked out or a fight happen or anything crazy? Like, tell us your craziest story.
You know, it's funny that you asked me that. I think it's you. I think you. One time I was with you, and you know, for those of you who are listening, Shabir has this obsession with the hood. Whenever I come to visit his community, and his community is in Albany, New York. And if you've never been to Albany, consider yourself fortunate, because it's definitely not a vacation destination. But in any case, he asks me, he's like, Sheikh, do you want to go to the hood? I'm like, okay. So he takes me, and we're going for a drive, and then we're at a stop sign, and then like a fight breaks out in the middle of the street, and people are like swinging at each other. So yeah, that was but I haven't seen like a fight inside of
the mosque.
But you gave me that opportunity outside of the masjid, I guess.
Inshallah, we'll give you more opportunities like that in the future.
All right, so are we ready?
So I think these names people keep writing down. They give you a name, you don't really pick it out. You don't get a choice. They just pick out random names.
So these are not names that people are picking?
Yeah. So I guess they can just like randomly pick out. The computer picks out the names for them randomly.
Oh, okay. I thought that people are choosing.
So that makes sense, because I'm looking. I'm like, come on, we don't see any Muhammads in there. Yo, you guys need some.
I mean, great ferrets. Like who's going to choose that name? So it must be computer generated.
So let's start with the game. Let's start with the first question. I don't know if it's going to pop up on the screen or what. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Let's see what the first question is. What year did Sheikh Azhar and Shabir first meet?
Well, why do these questions sound like we're a couple? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're sending the wrong message.
I guess if you want to say faith, I don't know which way you're talking, but
you know, it's really these suspicious kind of questions.
So you guys think 1985 is not there? That's the year I was born.
Dude, I'm glad it doesn't say 1985. Do we look that old?
Bro, we'll be like we'll be followers of all the Maharaja that ever lived. How many of our audience you think knows who Ayatollah Sabzwari is?
Maybe like 2 or 3. I don't know.
They don't even know who he's been, where
don't-
he's buried, when he was a marja.
I wish I had more faith in our community, but I think you have to be in scholarly circles to maybe, or at least be very. You have
But
to be
what's kind of
acquainted
sad
with
is like I
it.
kind of know that, and I'm surprised other people don't know that.
So how much time do they have to answer this question?
I think it's a countdown on the screen. You see it says
Okay,
27,
yeah.
26.
What year did we meet? Do you remember? Do you remember when we met?
Honestly, to be totally honest with you, I don't remember.
I remember the year, but I don't remember. I don't remember the exact
Where we
moment.
met at? I'm gonna say the year 2008.
2008. That is right. I can't believe I've known you for 12 years, man.
That's longer than some of the people's marriages. Damn, a
Right?
lot of people actually got it right. 58
Got
people
it.
got it right.
Yeah, I don't. That's amazing.
What's the
Yeah,
next question? What do
we've
you
known
think
each
the
other
next
for a
question
long
is?
time. So who's in the lead? Quick Buffalo is in the lead.
Quick Buffalo, damn. What's the Sheikh's favorite sport to play? They don't got hockey. Aren't you from whatchamacallit, Canada? Shouldn't hockey be up there?
Oh God, dude. I can't even like ice skate. So
I seen this meme online that said if hockey, what happened? If hockey gets canceled in Canada, they'll come up quickly with the cure for the coronavirus.
wait, why was this question so quick?
I don't know. I think everyone must have got it right. I don't.
Bro, we got hacked by the Russians.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You know,
Nothing is secure these days.
the Hillary Clinton people must have jumped in. What's the Sheikh's favorite movie?
I don't watch movies. I only read the Quran, man. It's a fake question.
You know what's my favorite movie?
What?
Training Day. You ever watched it?
Of course, it would be a gangster movie.
No, it's not really gangster. It's a crooked cop.
But I mean, it is gang culture.
I guess if you want to
You
put it
can
that
take
way.
the guy out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the guy.
The message Inception, you got to be high to watch Inception. It's a dream inside a dream. You know what I mean?
You know, the first time that I watched it, it was so trippy that you just stop following the storyline
Yeah.
because it just gets so convoluted. So what do you think my favorite movie is?
Your favorite movie? You look pretty white. I'm gonna say either Inception or Braveheart. You like that like little. It's definitely not The Message because it came out way back. We need 1080p.
Well, why do you think that I'm white? By the way, I mean, not that I'm offended by that, but why?
You
Why?
live in Vancouver.
I just recently moved here. I mean,
Yeah, but it's not like.
I'm a person of color.
Yeah.
Braveheart.
You throw Braveheart. Told you it's a white movie.
That's not a white movie, man. It is
definitely
arguably one of the best. It's a cinematography. It's a
Legend Bunny.
adventure.
Damn, Legend Bunny's taking the lead. This look like a horse race, doesn't it? Which is the city the Sheikh traveled? I'm gonna say your favorite city has to be Vancouver because your wife lives there.
No, that I've traveled to. So it's implying that I don't live
traveled there and you fell in love with her. I guess I would assume so.
No, that's
false. So I got to message Sister Light saying, it's not because of you. He fell
this
in
is
love.
why, this is why I keep my distance from Shabir. He creates a lot of problems. Do you hear that
yesterday?
Do you hear the people like banging on their pots and pans?
I think she agrees with me. She's trying to tell you once you're done.
No, that's not my wife, by the way. Those are our neighbors.
What are they playing?
Minneapolis, Dubai, Paris, Sydney. Shabir, are you upset that Albany's not on the list?
Albany's utopia. You got to be special to get in. Before now, Albany's not special. I wouldn't want you to come here.
Albany is the most depressing city in the United States.
Definitely now. I agree with
Albany. Let me tell you about Albany, New York. Albany feels like it's cloudy even when it's sunny. Sydney. Honestly, the best halal food you will eat in the world is in Sydney.
Sheikh and who convinced you to go to Sydney? Can you clarify that?
Honestly, it was Shabir. As much as I hate to admit it, he's been on my case to go and recite there for years, and I never wanted to because I hate being on a flight for too long, and it was just such a long flight, but it was worth it, man. So I give you credit for that.
Good, man. What's the next one? What is the Sheikh's favorite sports team? Get out of here. Toronto Raptors, you deserve it. Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Lakers, Chicago Bulls. I'm going to say, I know the answer. Because you know what it is? You a hater.
No, because I'm not. I don't want to give any clues, but
No. You are a hater. You know what I mean? Because the best player in that sport is currently playing right now. Not right now because of the coronavirus. So I feel like, you know what I mean?
Are you talking about LeBron James?
Hell yeah, LeBron James.
But the question is not who's your favorite player. So who's your favorite team?
Well, LeBron James, whichever team he plays for.
LeBron James is not a team, Shabir.
Bro,
let me explain to you how basketball works.
No.
More than one player on a team. So yeah, so I used to, I was watching basketball in the 90s, and I watched Jordan play in his prime, and the best duo in NBA history, I think, is the Pippen and Jordan duo. So I will forever be a Chicago Bulls fan.
Yeah. Jordan always looked like a bull, but one-on-one, LeBron can definitely take him.
I think that might be true.
One-on-one, you know what I mean? But as far as
the Sheikh Azhar University, so Shabir, I'm surprised you didn't put up University of Phoenix.
I was gonna put that for the Hausa.
Harvard, MIT, University of Wisconsin, or University of Michigan.
University of Michigan, University of... This better be easy. If people get this wrong, I don't know.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying it's a simple thing. You know what I mean? Definitely an MIT. It wasn't Harvard.
Why? So why couldn't I have gone to Harvard? What's the?
Because if you went to Harvard, you wouldn't be here talking to me. You'll be doing a presentation somewhere.
But I'm a humble person. Even if I went to Harvard, even if I taught at Harvard, I would still maintain my friendship.
But you'll be doing a presentation about coronavirus.
Because maintaining my friendship with you is my form of community service.
So this is your sadaqah?
This is my sadaqah, right? This is my good deed of the day.
University of Michigan. There we go. Our audience is awake. I don't even know what the next question is. Smooth Snail. There we go. What field did Sheikh obtain his degree in?
Magic. I'm a licensed magician.
Philosophy.
And philosophy is not one of the options.
Oh, damn. That should have been one of the options. Isn't this Hausa?
This is a university degree. So
yeah. Not Hausa degree.
Not Hausa degree. Shabir, what was your favorite subject in school?
In school?
Yeah.
Without making it so complicated, I'm gonna say gym, bro. Physics. Gym and physics.
Gym is not physics.
No, gym and physics. It was
gym
total
and physics.
But it was mostly gym. I would skip though. Even though I love gym, I never went to it because they used to give it to us.
I thought cooking would be your favorite.
No, we learned that inside a cell.
Shabir is not a good influence on the youth, man. So cultural anthropology.
Damn.
It sounds a lot more interesting than it is.
And then you decide to wear an imama. I don't know. I think I got 2 at the house. I can mail you one if you want.
Speaking of imamas, if anyone knows how to wrap a turban, please get in touch. I will pay you to wrap my turban. It has become the bane of my existence.
See what the first community sheikh ever gave a lecture to. Oh, snap.
Shabir, you should know this.
Of course I know this. I probably know the name of the mosque too, or knew the name of the organization.
If you know the name of the organization, that would be new. I don't even remember the name of the organization.
Dude, it was what was it, NYC or something?
No,
YMA? Yeah, it was YMA, bro.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it was YMA. YMC,
Not
YMCA, whatever it was.
YMCA,
Yeah.
YMA, the Young Muslim Association.
And then it changed
That was,
to
that was
MYA or
back in the
something.
day. That was back in the day when life was simple.
Yo, I think we're giving out like the answers to people before they can choose. So if they Google that, it might pop up. Someone wrote, "Did you get your PhD in Twitter?" I don't know, in tweets.
Did I get my PhD? Is there a University of Twitter? Because if there is, I would love to
Maybe we can start one.
attend.
Teach people how to tweet.
It'll end up being like Trump University. You just take people's money and they get nothing out of it.
They can pay me directly. Venmo me. Shabir Mukhtar at Venmo.
How old was Sheikh when he gave his first lecture?
When you first became Baligh, how old was that?
I think I became Baligh like at 10 or 11. I was an early bloomer.
So you start giving a speech as soon as you became Baligh. So let's say 25, 22. No, because I think you were in the house when you were 20.
First of all, you can't become Baligh at 25, Shabir. You should know. You've been to Hausa, haven't you? The max age for males is 15 lunar years.
But it looks like some of the guys are like 95 and they're still starting, the first class. And they haven't graduated. I think I did more Hausa studies going to Ziyarat part-time than some of the actual scholars that are on minbars. And maybe soon enough I should stop.
I think that's actually true. I think you've spent more time in the seminary than some speakers, unfortunately.
Because, I've been to much the Hindi, much Sabzawari. I've been to like all the Hausa classes, 16. How old are you now? 38, 40?
God. Shabir, I'm your age. How old are you?
55.
So I'm 34. By the way, my birthday's next month.
Inshallah.
May 31st.
You celebrated your birthday here last year, remember, at my house?
So was it last year?
Or 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Where was he when he was living during his teenage years? Come on, man. If you guys can't get these questions right, you deserve to drop out of college.
I feel bad. I feel like we should have questions like about the 12th Imam. I feel like God is going to punish us for.
Well, we'll talk about that at the end of the scheme. This is to get to know the Sheikh, so this way they kind of know who you are.
But there's no benefit in knowing who I am. You know what I mean?
It is, because then whenever you quote something, they can be like, "Oh, the Sheikh is, from New York City. That's what he's talking about."
Sure, if that.
I guess, I don't know.
Helps you sleep at night.
But it was like Sheikh Diary. We decided to do something a little different. You know what I mean?
What room are you in? I'm trying to figure out what room you're in. Are you in your daughter's room?
Yeah, the room I usually make you sleep in when you come here.
Oh, the room, yeah, where you make me sleep on the floor like a prisoner.
You said you're humble, so we're just gonna make sure you stay that way, right? If you start getting spoiled, then it might change around.
What is my favorite topic?
You like Irfan, don't you?
Do I?
I don't know. So someone asked me the other day, said, ask the Sheikh, why did he move out of Florida? So I told the person, I said, the Sheikh moved out of Florida because there was a lot of alligators and there was a lot of snakes. It was mostly because of the snakes, not anything else. You know what I mean?
I'm okay with snakes, actually. As long as they're in cages and they don't come near me, then sure.
You gotta cut the grass to see them coming. That was like a Lion Styles piece.
Have you ever been bitten by a snake, Shabir?
No, I don't think I've been bitten by any animal besides a dog once.
Are you serious?
What
do you do when you get bitten? But when you got bit by a dog?
I got bitten by a.
You call an attorney?
Nah, bro, it happened in Pakistan. I couldn't do anything.
Is there a question in the?
Let's see what the next question is. Okay. Do you follow Sheikh Azhar on Twitter? If not, you should. Yes, you will. No, you won't. Whatever the case may be. So let me ask you a couple of other questions, Sheikhana. Before we wrap this up, Tupac or Biggie?
La ilaha illallah.
Just pick one. I'm pretty sure you don't know which one is, right?
I mean, obviously, I know who they are. I mean,
I'm just saying, act like you don't at least.
I know who they are, and who would I pick?
Yeah.
So the thing is, if I pick one, it's gonna seem like an endorsement, and then people are gonna blame me for
All right, all
corrupting.
right, all right.
But
I like
I'm, I'm,
Tupac, so
I'm
let's
gonna
say Tupac.
I'm gonna refrain from answering the question.
I'm gonna say Tupac.
Why?
Because it was more his rap music was more of a message than it was just about something else. Like for example, we got a song called "Dear Mama." I encourage you guys to go listen to it, look it up.
No, I don't encourage you guys to go listen to it.
I said
Ignore
I
what
encourage it,
you're
not you.
saying. Speaking of Tupac, I remember, and I think I've posted this before. Someone asked me one time, Sheikh, what's that hadith about how only God can judge me? It wasn't a hadith. It was it was
was
something that they
Tupac.
remembered from listening to Tupac.
What about Jay-Z or Nas?
I'm not Shabir. I'm not like I don't know
All
why
right, all right, you're
I'm
right.
going to give you
All right.
answers to these questions.
All right. Right
I
now,
don't want
who's
to
your
corrupt
favorite
you.
NBA team?
What's that?
Who's your favorite NBA team right now?
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not about the team. I follow the player, and right now, I would have to agree with you that LeBron James is the best. So yeah. So LA Lakers.
I like the Knicks. Inshallah, once the owner gets kicked out or fired, if we can make a dua, let that happen. He's racist. He sucks.
You
know what I mean?
You always gave me the impression that you were more like of a ping pong player than a basketball player.
Only if I knew how to play ping pong. Isn't that beer pong? Oh, that's different. My daughter was trying to bomb in, but I guess she bounced. So with that said, next week we got a program as well.
Friday night, next week.
So Friday night, hear this, we have Hasnain Rajab Ali.
Okay.
Saturday night, we have Sheikh Jihad Ismail.
Okay.
Sunday, we're going to have Sayyid Muhammad Hassan al-Shara.
Okay.
We'll do similar programs if people.
You guys are doing like a marathon next weekend. So I was the first guest on this program.
You were, yeah, because this way, if it turned out to be crazy, then whatever, and if it turns out to be good, people are going to tune in next week. You know what I mean?
So I was basically the guinea pig.
If you want to put yourself in that position, those words, then sure. I didn't say guinea pig. You're using that word, not me.
So you're testing to see if this is going to work, and
it's definitely going to work regardless. People got nothing better to do right now.
Are you the host for every show?
I was thinking of it, unless people got a better idea.
If that's the case, the program is definitely it's going to be a failure. If you're the host,
it's going to tank. Is it right? It's not like they're going to kick me out of this mosque.
Someone's going to hit you with the hand.
It's not like why. Yeah, but it's not like they're going to kick me out of this mosque. You know what I mean? I'm not throwing shades. I'm just throwing colors at people. It's all good. So thank you for being here. Inshallah, we look forward to doing this. What did you think? You think it was all right? Did I go out of line?
No, I think you.
I tamed myself.
I think you were moving. You were getting a little wild, but I had to rein you in. But so far it was.
It was good.
I think it was decent. I think this program has potential.
So one thing before we wrap this up, again, we keep anyone that's affected by the coronavirus or any kind of other virus or any other kind of illness, we keep them in our prayers, and we request everyone to recite Surah Fatiha for all our deceased and all the people that are sick in our communities or outside our communities, Muslim and non-Muslim. I think it goes by, if you pray for your neighbors, then you pray for yourself, so let's pray for other people first, then inshallah Allah is going to send angels to pray for us. Number one. Number two is let's take this time, since we're at our houses, think about how we're going to build our relationship with our own families and also with our communities once we're allowed to go back to the mosque. So I know there's a lot of stereotype at most of the mosques. This guy is Khoja, he's part of this tribe in Africa or this group in India. This guy's Afghan, he's from this part of Afghanistan. This guy's Pakistani or Irani or Iraqi, Najafi, Karbala, whatever. Let's work on, walking away from this. We stay unified and pray for the Imam. So when he does reappear, if it's now or later, we're all one, we're not separate. And let's pray for all the mu'mineen outside the US as well, especially in certain countries that are affected that we don't hear about in the news. With that said, love to have you again in the future. We'll talk. And I think
Habibi,
this is
thank
it.
you very much. And
You want to recite anything?
I look forward to getting your gift in the mail on May 31st. Right, don't use the coronavirus as an excuse.
Bro, I'll send you.
When I get the package, I'll disinfect it, and I'll open it, and I'll enjoy the expensive gift.
Send
And
you one of
I'm
Cuban
getting a
cigars?
text message from Irfan Bimji in Orlando, Florida, and I just wanted to send my salam to him and his lovely family. You know, those two actually helped me hold one of the most amazing 15th of Sha'ban programs in Orlando.
They were actually with me in Ziyarat and Arba'in. I got to know them very well. And we showed them a different part of the world, a different part of Ziyarat.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, Allah tests people in different ways.
And it looked like they enjoyed it. But for your birthday, I'm going to send you a Cuban cigar.
Shabir, man, you know that our kids watching, like, kids, don't smoke. You're
No, I didn't say smoke it, bro. Hold on to it. It grows value. It's like gold.
So yeah, so this is why you guys maybe should consider getting a new host for future programs.
We're gonna vote me off the island or off the show. So yallah, thank you very much, Sheikh.
Habibi, keep me in your dua, inshallah. I pray for all of you guys, and only 2 weeks away from the month of Ramadan, inshallah. We take advantage of the last 2 weeks of the month of Sha'ban. Try to fast as much as you can. Get into the habit of doing Salatul Layl, Istighfar, Dua. And we pray that Allah allows us and gives us the tawfiq to witness another month of Ramadan. Thank you so much for hosting me, and a special salam to the community in Minnesota. I was hoping to have the opportunity to visit your community this year, but I wasn't given the tawfiq. Hopefully when this blows over, if it does, I'll definitely make it a point to pay you guys a long due visit.
Inshallah.
Okay, take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Fi aman Allah, Sheikhna.
Fi aman.